What's up, y'all? Welcome to the On the Come Up podcast, where creative entrepreneurs share their come up journeys that turn their passions into success. I'm your host, Kimberly, so let's get started. What is up, guys? We are back with another episode. We are coming to you from Austin, Texas at Just Push Record Studios. Today, I am here with my brother, Kai.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. My brother is actually a UT student, so he's on his third year. He's a junior, right?
Yes.
Majoring in radio, television, film.
Correct.
And you said you were minoring in what?
I have a double minor in French and English.
Very nice. So let's give a round of applause for the smartest student in or smartest child in our family.
He's the only one that says this. We haven't tested. There's only 3 of us, so.
My theory is he's the smartest one. First gen. Let's speak on that one.
Yeah.
If that doesn't say anything. And we are also 10 years apart. You might not tell I'm really showing my age right now, but yeah. What made you choose radio, television, film as your major?
Well, originally I was studying English because I'm kind of a natural writer. And so I always know I wanted to tell stories, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with that English degree. I just kind of assumed I was going to be a professor. But I soon made a lot of friends that were film majors, and it really changed my perspective on what storytelling could be. And so after my freshman year, I put in a request to transfer to radio, television, film, and I got in, which apparently is pretty difficult. It's really competitive. So I was really grateful to get in. And now I just love it. I mean, yeah.
So it was the people around you that kind of like changed your perspective about wanting to change your major.
Yeah. I mean, the English classes are a little bit, I guess, introverted.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't feel very involved because it's mostly just, okay, now read this book and then write this essay. Now read this book and write this essay. And I guess I kind of yearned for this collaboration that you're kind of promised in college. And I didn't really feel that. But just seeing what my film friends were doing and how they're always on set, they're always creating, I just want to be a part of that space. And so transferring was really made me take that leap finally.
Oh, what has been your favorite project at UT so far?
So I've worked on a lot of projects. I can't really think of a particular one I always have fun on every single project that I get to be a part of. But in terms of what I've made, I just filmed a documentary this semester on this local convenience store called Rio Market here in Austin. And the owner of that store is just such a character, and he's so fascinating to me. So I wanted to do a character piece on him and his store. He hosts live music in the store, and so it's just chaotic in there, and I absolutely love it. He's such a great guy. So I'm still editing that, but I'll be premiering that in May.
So is it the documentary just based on his experience or his business at the convenience store?
Yeah, so basically I just went to the store for like 5 consecutive days, just filming whatever I observed. Because I felt like as a customer, anytime I went in there, I always just saw something happen, or he would always say something weird. And so I just wanted to capture that. And it worked out surprisingly really well. And a story kind of just came through naturally. I noticed he's like this older gentleman, probably like late 50s. I didn't ask. But he has very strong opinions, and I wanted to showcase his personality because he's very convinced that he has it all figured out, and I wanted to try to show through the documentary that like maybe he could be wrong. He doesn't like children, so he claims, but so many like high school kids go to his store and he like interacts with them in like a very fatherly way. And so like I have this whole great scene where he's teaching kids how to play ping pong because he has a ping pong table in the store, and it's just like, I don't know, I want to go on this emotional beat of like found community, because he's big on community, but he does not want kids of his own. He's very adamant about that in my interview with him. But it was just really fascinating. It just I wanted to just feel very human in a very unexpected place, which a convenience store. So
Just by you like describing that, I can like feel the emotion through your storytelling like right now without even having to watch it.
yeah,
So if y'all guys are in Austin, Texas, this will be premiered May 3rd, uh,
at the Texas Union,
Texas
on
Union
campus. Yeah.
on campus. So go check it out if you're local. How do you balance the creative side of your major with the academic workload?
Well, the academic workload is actually relatively light compared to a lot of other majors. It's I just said that this was a negative of the English department, where it's like read a book, write an essay. Now it's kind of just watch a movie, write a shorter essay. But I guess like it doesn't feel like work, even though like some of like what I had to do for class. Like I took an editing class, and although it was technically like, oh, I don't want to do this, like I felt like I was enjoying what I was doing, and I was proud of what I was doing, which I can't really say for all of my academic
Hmm.
career. It's just like a lot of it just felt obligatory, but this is like, oh, I like doing this. So it felt different. And then, well, I feel like the creative side is kind of fed by what I'm doing academically. I'm in this advanced screenwriting class right now, and I'm going to take an advanced production class next semester. So those kind of feed each other, where I want to create, my end goal is to create another film, right? That's not the ultimate end goal, but that's just a goal I have. But the process of that, you have to write it, you have to like get crew for that and everything. So my screenwriting class serves as like a supplement to that production class. I'm writing to ultimately create those films. So it doesn't feel like oh, I have to do this, or oh, I hate doing this. It's just another part of the process, you know.
Hmm. Because you've already we already like we're coming to the end of your third year, so you've already done all the your basics.
Yeah, I've already finished all my basics, and those are pretty light. It's mostly just studying like the industry and the history of film. And I mean, even then, like compared to a lot of my peers, I was like just so like enthralled by the classes. I was just so excited to be studying something that I really wanted to.
Mhm.
So,
What's one lesson you learned during your time at UT that you didn't expect?
ooh, I feel like I've learned so much. I just, even in like the past like year or so, I just feel totally different. Um, I don't know. I think, I think, I guess like the importance of the people around you, the people you surround yourself with. Um, just because I feel like creatively I've been so vastly different based on the people around me. Um, and also professionally too, because I kind of have to. Film is just such a social like major and industry ultimately. I haven't gotten to experience the full extent of the industry yet, but just as a film student, you have to have all these friends. You have to not even just friends. You have to have like people that that can do different things, like sound, lighting. Like there's so many departments, and just having like a network of people that can do those things. And that's what I think is so unique about film compared to other majors, is that like we all do different things, we all provide different things, compared to like say STEM, where it's like when employers are looking at you, or when you're trying to assemble a team, everybody generally has the same skill set. Everybody knows numbers, everybody knows like whatever algorithms or whatever like formulas are needed for that case. But film is just so diverse in what talents are needed, and that it's like it's so weird how it all comes together in the end. Um so I just think like, to answer your question, is just like the significance of community and significance of having a wide range of people that you know and understand. Yeah.
And pretty much just be like nice to everybody,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
eventually y'all could collaborate in some way, somehow, creatively, you
Yeah.
know?
Definitely. Yeah.
Do you see yourself more like behind the camera, writing, directing, or editing?
So I'm 1,000% behind the camera. I've acted in a couple things for my friends every once in a while, but like that's not where my passion lies. But I love writing the most, but like my dream and place in the industry would be director, writer, editor. I would like to do those things. I think the best directors are their own editors, because you have to have this vision of like what the final product is going to look like. I think a director who isn't an editor may like not get enough coverage, not they're not seeing the vision all the way through. Um, in our classes, they teach us that films are made three times. They're made on the paper, they're made on set, and then they're made in the editing room. And so I kind of would like to facilitate all three of those. There are famous examples. Sean Baker, a huge inspiration for me. He just won Best Director and Best Picture at the Oscars for Anora, and he's just been doing this thing for 20 years of directing, writing, and editing. And just finally now he's finally getting praise for it. Um, but I just like absolutely admire that mindset of like this is my thing and I'm gonna make it all the way through. I'm not gonna just pass it to somebody else
Hmm.
to potentially change my vision, you know?
Yeah, oh, I love that. So you want to do everything,
Yeah.
essentially, right?
Yeah.
How has your onset experience been like so far?
I mean, it's been great. I couldn't put a number to it. I've probably been on over 20 student film sets at this point, doing different things. And I just am so thankful for like the community I've found, and like I love creative people, and I feel like my friends are uniquely creative in our major,
Mhm.
because there's so many people that don't want to write, that don't want to make. And I think that's such like a I don't know. I don't get that mindset. There's a lot of people in film school that just refuse to make anything themselves or are too scared to make anything themselves. And that's like not how you go about it in this industry. Um, but I'm getting sidetracked here. Just past weekend I assistant directed this film. It's like medium sized, but people were praising me there because I knew how every department operated, and I knew how to direct each department to get set up. And so it's like I knew the specifics for lighting, I knew the specifics for sound, and I don't think that I knew specifics for camera. I don't think that a lot of people know that. And that kind of helped me realize that there's only like so few of us that are well versed in each department, because what people want to do when they get in freshman year is figure out which box can I put myself in. And it's not inherently a bad thing, because of course we need our sound people, we need our lighting people that know like everything. I would say I don't know everything about any individual department. I just know enough to improve a situation on set or solve a problem quickly on set, which I think is what a strong director and assistant director really need. Um, so I guess trying my hand at everything, which is actually not that common of a practice at least my film school, it feels like it's informed me so much on how to be a better director and just better filmmaker in general, because I understand how like the limitations of each department and how we can solve things with the given resources that we have, you know?
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I guess just becoming versatile, as much yeah, versatility is like the biggest thing I've learned on being on so many sets.
So yeah, just like dipping your toes into everything you can like now,
Yeah.
right? Because eventually once you graduate, this will everything that you've learned and put yourself in will, come into play. And
Yeah.
so you're setting yourself up for success now. That way you know a lot more, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who or what shows, films, or filmmakers inspire you?
Okay. Well, I've already mentioned Sean Baker. I think he's more of a recent example of
Hmm.
someone who does the triple thing that I described of writer, director, editor. Um, films. Well, actually, I recently went to South by Southwest. I was a volunteer, and as a volunteer, you get a film badge if you work enough hours, so then you can see some of the premieres there. And interestingly enough, I was not impressed by most of the feature films that were presented. And I think it's this kind of thing where there's like not enough competition. So I think more, I guess, I don't want to say mediocrity because that feels insulting, but I guess it's just less competition. And it typically, like the films that get selected are the ones that have big names attached, right? Like McConaughey or what have you, right?
Hmm.
So those are the ones that get screened. And I guess, because I guess they're expected to be of sort of quality because they have these big names attached, but that's not always true. What I was most impressed by was the short films screenings. And the short film screenings, it only makes sense because that's so competitive. You know, you have every film school in the nation, in the world, really, right, competing together, all those students, because all we can make at our typical budget levels are short films. So it's kind of a competition of every student filmmaker, every filmmaker coming out of college, every filmmaker who's trying to get their feet off the ground but can't afford to make a feature, right? And so those are such high quality. um there was just one, I think it was called One Time This Kid or something like that. One Day This Kid, something like that. um but it was absolutely beautiful. I was just so amazed by it. It was about this, it was like three parts of this kid's life, um as he grew up in a conservative Islam household,
Hmm.
and how he ultimately grew up to be gay. And it was just a beautiful story. Um, so well shot. I watched it with my roommate next to me, and we were both like crying. We were like, "This is so well done." Like I can't even imagine like having to make this, or like all the parts coming together to make this. It was so beautiful. And I got to talk to so many short filmmakers there, and they were just so inspiring. So I think I'm more inspired by people that I feel like I could be someday.
Hmm.
You know, all the big names like right now, Denis Villeneuve, who else is a major filmmaker right now getting a lot of money? I can't think off the top of my head. But those all feel so far away from me. And so, at least right now. So, talking to other short filmmakers that I admire their work, and I can see the passion in them, and they're right in front of me and I can like talk about it. It's like, I don't know, that's what I want to be. Um there's just, it just feels more
Hmm.
attainable, I guess. And I don't know. Um yeah, I think I just admire independent smaller filmmakers right now. I can't rattle off any right now, but yeah, I feel closer to that point than any person who's,
Because you can relate
yeah, I can
on it,
relate.
right?
But it's still not the point where it's like, it's not like, oh, you're a millionaire and you're comfortable. Like these are very normal people and they probably have day jobs, you know, and then just make the films whenever they have free time. And so like even that feels like a dream scenario where I can still be a full-time filmmaker and work a full-time job so I can
Mm.
be comfortable. It's like not all of us are going to become $1 million directors
Right.
with, you know, studios throwing millions of dollars at us to make films. So yeah, I think I'm most inspired with the smaller filmmakers.
Yeah, I feel like that's with any kind of like creative job,
Yeah.
you know, like I'm trying to get it with this podcast, but I still have a day job, you know, it's like everyone has to start somewhere so they can get where they want to get. Um, what has been the hardest part of pursuing this path so far?
Whew. I think I think funding and the competition. I think I think the student filmmakers within like my peers, I suppose, that I'm most intimidated by. It's not because of any creative prowess they have. It's not anything that they're doing differently. It's just the sheer fact that they have money,
Mm.
right? I think it's really hard to compete with someone who's in the same grade as you. You have the same classes, and it ultimately won't matter who can like, I don't know, because like people have a lot of external money and that can show in their film work because they can afford to rent the $90,000 camera for the weekend or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can afford to have these giant set pieces, these giant locations. Um, and so that is a bit of I wouldn't say a problem, but it's just a reality of our industry. And I think seeing that in college is only a small form of that, of what the real reality in the industry is, right? We use this term nepo babies, right? You've
Yeah.
probably heard, right? People who come from money, people who come from influence. And I think that even extends at the college level because some of these kids have like $10,000 projects. And it's like, I've never seen you make like a $1,000 project, like, let alone
Mhm.
like, why are you doing this? You know, I feel I'm a big like believer in you should work your way up, you know, you should prove that you're capable of handling $1,000 project before you know, make your parents dish out $10,000. And so, and then also like equipment itself, camera equipment is so expensive, and UT only lends us so much. Because there's only so much. I don't know why we're such a underfunded department. At least in my opinion, we are. Um, it's really unfortunate. Um, so we often have to do like third party rentals and stuff, which is like fine, and then we get around it, but there's just a big disparity between the wealthier students and of course like I guess more average students like me, you know, first generation, like just trying to break into the industry. But I mean, if I can't really propose a solution to that, that's just kind of the reality of it. So I'm sorry, what was the question?
The what has been the hardest part, but you said it was the funding.
Yeah,
But honestly, that's like even after you graduate, that's still gonna be like solely an issue, because you need money to do anything,
yeah,
to start a business, to do that, to do this. So even for like us regular people still trying to figure it out over here, like it's, you know, starting a podcast, like all this takes so much money, renting out a studio, buying mics, like everything is so expensive and it's like you need money to do that.
yeah,
And a lot of people don't pursue their dreams because they don't have the money,
yeah,
So it's like, dang, I want to do that, but I don't have the money.
yeah,
But so even now, it's like after you graduate, like you'll realize, like, okay, I have to save money to do what I want to do, even
yeah,
then. So, but right now, you're still kind of lucky to dip your feet to be able to do it, with the help of UT, I guess you could say.
yeah,
Even though it's like not as much, as what you've seen with other kids, but
yeah,
it's like us too. It's like, dang, like I want my own podcast studio, but it's like I don't have the money for that.
yeah,
So it's like
yeah,
it's hard. Like money is, I guess, the root of all evil, like people say.
yeah. I
You
mean,
know?
yeah, I'm very grateful to have like I guess I call it a safety net of UT,
Hmm.
of like at least I'm guaranteed, not guaranteed, but I'm likely to make projects because I have resources and I have all these people on hand because, you know, we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to break into the industry. But as soon as it's graduation and as soon as you're working with like actual adults,
Hmm.
right? It's like, okay, well now I have to pay $100 day rate to like everybody on set. And like, I can't afford that, you know? Right now we all work for free for each other because we need that experience, you know?
Yeah.
And so it would only become more expensive post graduation. And I am a little anxious about that. Um, but I guess the more friends I can secure to ensure that they're not trying to upcharge me, you know,
Hmm.
for their work, I guess would be the best bet. And then of course renting equipment is the best way to go. I mean, some people, some students already own like $6,000 cameras. I'm like, you do not need that $6,000 camera.
I know, but don't let that like, you know, push you back or hold you back.
No, absolutely not. I
Because
mean, I try to make I do make the best of my situation, and like I did rent equipment to shoot my doc. I rented equipment to shoot my first narrative, and it was no problem. I think they are visually really intriguing and they look really good. Um, but of course, like I guess to the average viewer, you know, if you're seeing they tend to equate quality to like picture quality or like quality of the set to quality of the picture, like
Mhm.
quality of the film. Um, so I guess just trying to convince people to see your more amateur looking work or appreciate your more amateur looking work is like the uphill battle that you just have to face as like a more financially average filmmaker. Yeah.
Yeah, when we all start from somewhere, it's not gonna look picture perfect
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
in the beginning, but it's like you're gonna elevate, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, yeah. And that is the goal. I mean, I just want to keep stepping above myself, stepping above myself. But it's definitely going to take a lot of crowdfunding, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess that's so like anxiety inducing to me. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not above asking for money. It's just like a thing where it's just like I feel, I don't know. It just gives more pressure to you come through with the project and to create something
Mhm.
that other people can appreciate. Like I might be proud of it, but do other people understand it or appreciate it? You know?
Yeah. What advice for student that you have for students that who feel overwhelmed?
I am a big believer of prioritizing your mental health. I had a film studies class. Um, Professor was great. It was just not for me. It was just not clicking with me. I wasn't in her. I wasn't really. I was prioritizing my doc at this time, so I wasn't. I was kind of falling behind, and so I just dropped the class. And there's no punishment for it. You know, you just drop. It was early enough in the semester. I said, "No." I mean, I'm always just a big believer of just eliminating whatever that stress thing is to the greatest extent. Obviously, prioritize graduating on time and succeeding as an academic, but sometimes you just got to know when to call it quits. And I mean, it's been the greatest relief for me. And then I was able to pick up more set jobs, which I ultimately think is more beneficial to my post grad,
Mhm.
you know, than this one media studies class that they don't know what it means, you know. So
Yeah. So, what are your goals post grad?
well, I have devised like four plans.
Hmm.
I have, I mean, it's kind of like a necessary evil of like, well, I have to plan on failing, I guess. And maybe I won't, but we won't know. So, plan A right now. UT offers this really great program called UTLA, where you can do a semester in Los Angeles and take UT administered classes over there in LA in person. And it's really great. And you get all these opportunities to visit studios and you get an internship. Um, it's technically not guaranteed, but UT pulls some strings to try to get their students as many internships as possible. So there's that. And like upon like they say like upon succeeding in those internships, maybe a job offer can come up. It's kind of up in the air. But the goal is to get your feet in the water of LA and maybe rub some elbows with like people that can get you a job and then ultimately land that job. Or, you know, it's like training wheels into the industry, which I'm a big supporter of. So my goal would to be to do that the summer semester after I graduate, which is typical. A lot of people do this after they graduate. Most of my friends and I have been talking about all doing it the same semester. Um, so there's that, and it doesn't guarantee a job coming out of it, but you know, I'd work as hard as I can while I'm there and just hope for the best. Um, so that's plan A. Um, Something I'm also considering is grad school, which only extends that safety net that I described earlier being of like having school resources and school people, and I guess a more guarantee that you'll be making something,
Hmm.
because you have to, you know, for the sake of your GPA and your academics. Um, my dream grad school would be the Tisch School of Arts at NYU. But that's like
Way out there.
way out there. And then I guess becoming a teacher would be like my third option, a high school teacher, which was like a long time plan of mine, and I wouldn't mind doing it. And I have a passion for teaching, and I think that I would do well in that. But I would still want to be filmmaking on the side,
Mm.
and I would want to ultimately do that full time. But I think it's a matter of like I need a day job to fund my projects until I can, I guess, prove myself worthy to some big studio exec so you can trust me to make my own work or what have you. Or but yeah, I guess that's the plan. There's a lot of plans, and I have backup plans for the backup plans. So
Yeah, at least you have backup plans for the backup plans. Okay, we're gonna play a little this or that film slash college
okay,
edition. Directing or writing?
writing.
Indie or blockbuster?
Indie.
Morning classes or night?
Um, ooh, can I say like afternoon classes? I love a
Afternoon?
4 to 5 or
Oh,
something like
okay.
that.
Afternoon?
hmm
Studying alone or like group study?
Group study because I'm gonna be unproductive either way.
And Raising Cane's or Chick-fil-A?
Raising Cane's.
My brother lives like down the street from a Raising Cane's.
It's been a problem. I did like 5 days in a row Raising Cane's one time, and that was like,
They probably already know you there.
they have too many employees. They don't recognize me yet.
Really?
Yeah,
5 days in a row of Raising Cane's is wild.
that's the college experience.
My brother's living the college dream out here, guys. Don't feel bad if you didn't go to college, okay? Because I didn't get to experience that college dream. But, I mean, at least someone is, right? So that's why, thank you, Kai, for coming on and sharing your journey so far and at UT as a film student.
Yeah,
Can't wait to touch base in a couple years and see where we're at,
yeah.
right? I told Kai to put me in one of his movies when that time comes. And he just stares at me like he just did now. He doesn't say anything.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
He just stares at me like, oh, okay, that's so funny to me. All right, thanks, guys. We will see you guys in 2 weeks.
See ya.